Hello, Tri Deltas, and welcome to another episode of the Let's Talk Tri Delta podcast. I am Mindy Tucker and have the honor of serving as Tri Delta's interim chief executive officer. And I also am so lucky that I get to interview some amazing sisters as part of this podcast right here. And as we approach Mother's Day, it's the perfect opportunity to talk with our guest today, Taylor Dore Terry. She is from our Maine chapter. She is a mother, mental health advocate, natural connector of people, a community support ambassador, an athlete, currently playing tight end for the Cincinnati Cougars semi-pro football team. And I am so excited to get to know her better today and let her share her story with you. So Taylor, welcome to the podcast.
No, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be a part of this.
Me too. I love this story. There's so many things about your story that I love, and I'm really excited to delve into it and share it with our members. Let's go back and start sort of at the beginning. You graduated from high school in Germany, I hear.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how did you get to Maine from Germany?
So my father served in the US Army, so that's kind of how we got over there. So I got to graduate high school in Wiesbaden, Germany. Such a surreal experience even to this day. But I'm actually a descendant of the Passamaquoddy tribe in Maine,
Okay.
and the University of Maine has this really amazing grant program that brings in students of tribal descent and tribal members. And that's why I chose the University of Maine, was reconnecting with that side of my family. And also it is it covers room and board, it covers your
Wow.
classes. So it was something that it was just a no-brainer to take up this opportunity.
I love that. It's interesting to hear how your background sort of came into play and you got this great opportunity. And traveling as an army kid, like
Oh
that was
yeah.
a cool experience unto itself. But so exciting that you got to experience Germany and see that.
Yeah, it was in me, especially as a high schooler. Like, I might not have gotten my driver's license at 16, but I also got to
Right,
travel to like Paris and England and like all these other amazing places that
right.
if I wasn't over there, I wouldn't have got to experience.
Wow. That's just such a cool experience and different perspective to bring back to the States, especially
Definitely.
at college. And you joined Tri Delta a little bit different than sort of our typical member would as an undergrad. You joined as a graduate student.
I did.
And then you became the first president for your chapter. So tell us about your Tri Delta experience and how you joined and what it was like for you.
So in my undergrad, I had that want to be a part of Greek life, but to be honest, the transition of my family staying in Europe while I came to the States essentially by myself, I struggled a bit. I needed to like find out who I was and get my feet on the ground. And then so I went back to grad school and I was walking to the cafeteria one day and all of a sudden these women are there talking about, oh, are you brave and bold? Are you kind? Like, are you not scared of like failure? Like you don't even, that's not even an option for you. And I was like, oh, like, yeah, I like really vibe with that idea. And all of a sudden they were like, oh, we're with Tri Delta, we're a sorority. And I was like, no, 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 you don't want me. I'm too old. And they were like, no, you're what we're looking for. Like, we would love to have you. So they kind of opened this door that I thought had closed
Right.
years ago when I didn't join in my undergrad. So it was really easy to say I jumped on it very quickly.
And then you served in leadership in the chapter. What position were you in?
Yep. So I was the founding president. So Tri Delta was at UMaine, I think, several years ago. And then so they reestablished themselves on campus. And so I was served as that first president of being
Of the
reestablished.
reestablishment. Wow. Yeah.
And it
That's
was
great sort of
phenomenal.
timing because you were a little bit older and you got to come in and sort of provide that leadership at a critical time for the sorority. So I think that's really interesting and cool timing for you.
And it was a really neat experience too, because I was also serving as a res life director, well, assistant director for the University of Maine. So my sisters are also my residents. So it made this like,
Oh,
it made me also feel like I was kind of back in that undergrad like dorm
right.
experience because now like I'm connecting with all of these like younger like live-in members that were in the dorms that I was in. So it
Yeah.
just created this really cool opportunity.
Yeah. I love that. How do you think Tri Delta prepared you for leadership roles you've had in your life?
Oh gosh, I think the first one that's so easy is it really got me confident in myself, which I think you always feel a little confident until you're pushed to a breaking point. And there was so much expected of a founding president. We had so many things to set up, so much to get going. And I think being pushed to those points with a guiding hand, because we had our like we had our the older like Tri Deltas who had have already graduated. They were there helping us reestablish this, and it's just they really just helped us along and built that confidence in us. And then learning to speak to this big diverse group of people, because that first class that we had, we were just a lot of different people with a lot of different voices and a lot of different opinions, and learning how to navigate that and ensure that everyone had a great experience. I think it's set me up for success in every job I've had since then, every leadership position I've had since then. And I also had the experience to go and see St. Jude.
Oh yeah.
And that was life changing. And I think that just changed me fundamentally as a person. So seeing what volunteer in, seeing what, when people come together for a cause, what can be created. And it just really showed me like if you put your mind to something, you can start at nothing and just build up something that is changing people's lives and helping so many people.
Yeah. So many people have that experience when they go to St. Jude and they get to make that trip in the summertime.
I think you
It's
understand on some level like what work they're doing there, but when you get to see it face to face, it's just
it's
it's
different.
yeah, it's something that it's hard to put into words.
Yeah, it makes it real. And you're also seeing how you're a part of this huge thing that TriDelta is doing.
Yeah,
Um,
like
is
you're writing letters, you're fundraising, but when you get to see what those funds are really doing, these families who are at such a, as a mom now, I
yeah,
couldn't even imagine it. Like they're at like this lowest of the lows, and what we're doing is really, really helping families during this time.
yeah, it's so impactful. So what does TriDelta look like in your life today? Are you still in touch with people? How does it sort of live in your life today?
So I actually just went back to Maine and got to see, we didn't have a chapter room yet when we were, because we were brand new. So I got to go back and see that when I traveled to Maine not too long ago. And then I'm
Okay.
also a part of the alumni chapters. So I was a part of the Charlotte alumni chapter with
Uh-huh.
Peggy. I feel like that name will ring true to a lot of people in that area. She is,
Shout out to Peggy and
oh my
Charlotte.
gosh, she is phenomenal. She does so many events. They were just at the Ronald McDonald House volunteering. So, but then COVID kind of took over, and with my husband's work, we've bounced around a lot. But being a part of Peggy's alumni chapter there in Charlotte was just, it was a great experience, and it really helped me find some community after moving there.
I love that. I love hearing that. And I know they're going to love hearing that too. So shout out to them. So you talked about being a mom and your son is about 3.5.
He
Um,
is.
and first, I have kids too. We're all in that boat. There's so much that goes along with parenting and so many unexpected things that we deal with. And I know you, after he was born, suffered with postpartum depression. And you've talked about that in terms of your experience, and love to dig in a little bit to that journey for you today and how you found community and support and dealt with that as you were facing it.
Yeah, so I don't think any moms in 2020 planned on it, but I ended up being pregnant during the pandemic, and everything I expected was not what I experienced.
Yeah,
So no baby showers, no,
right.
everyone was excited, but it was a very isolated excitement. And then when I had him, I've always been pretty happy go lucky, very Sagittarius energy, and I got brought down to my knees. It was I I could cry right now. Like the experience was the most isolating and humbling thing I've ever had in my entire life. There was points where I was considering taking my own life, like,
I don't think we
and I don't think tears are a bad thing. Like I've
no,
survived
tears
this
are a good thing.
experience,
And I mean, I think that's what makes this real. I think this conversation is real for so many people who didn't expect to be in that position.
and I still like looking back on it. It's like I don't know how, without the community, without my family, without kind of being like, you know what, like I know society looks and frowns upon this, but I'm going to seek professional help. I would not be here today.
I hate that you say that, society frowns upon it. We do a lot of work in Tri-Delta around thinking about our mental health like we think about our physical health. And if we broke our leg, we would go to the doctor.
Right. And no
So
one would question why you went to the doctor about it. And
right,
that's the thing.
right. And so if we're not feeling mentally well, we should seek help. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. and we try to instill that in our collegiate members. But I think when you're a mom, so much of it is unexpected because you've had this identity of yourself and how you go about your way in life. And then, you get pregnant or you have a child. My kids are adopted, so I went about this a little bit differently. But you end up in this situation where you're having all these feelings that you don't like, you just haven't had before, and you don't know how to deal with them, whether it's mom guilt or postpartum depression or whatever. It's so rattling for us, I think.
And
Um,
although I feel like it's changing, like there's still such that conversation of you can do everything. Like you're your own power source. And it's like, but I'm depleted. Like I need someone to feed into me. And that's why these tears are why I've become such an advocate for moms seeking help, moms saying, I'm not okay. Like I need someone to step in and help me. And I, unfortunately, my postpartum care, I didn't receive that support. And my mom and my husband saved my life because they noticed the signs before I did. And they were like, nope, like we're going to take care of you. This is like, okay, like we're going to figure this out. And the sad thing is, there's so many moms though who don't have that support
yeah,
system.
that's important. Yeah.
And that's why scream it for moms who like aren't ready to scream it for themselves. Like you lose for a while, you lose so much of yourself because you do have this baby that they're completely innocent. They need that help. So learning that that part of you will come back. It's just the ebb and flow of motherhood.
Right.
But sometimes you need someone to throw you a life jacket, and it's okay. It doesn't make you a bad mom.
And it's okay to raise your hand and say, I need help. I can't do this. I need help.
And I
Um,
do think that is starting to change. You see a lot of influencers who are giving you that inside look of, yeah, like I just had a baby, I'm in diapers and I'm sad. Like this is more than the baby blues.
right.
And I think that's like Bird's Papaya. She's a huge person in transparency. And I just think it's going to affect so many women in such a positive way.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, I know you've been through it. You know what helped you. Where do you direct women today who might be going through those, or might be listening to this and saying, yeah, this is me. I don't know where to turn. I don't have any idea where to turn. Um, what help is out there? Where should women go?
I want to encourage people, if your medical provider is not helping you with what you need, like seek a different medical provider. It's okay to leave and try someone different because my OBGYN here in Ohio has been nothing but amazing in connecting me to resources that are helping me as a mom and a woman. And also, I personally found I joined Peanut, which is an app for moms, and it kind of has like a setup like Tinder where you're swiping with people you feel like you might connect.
Oh, interesting.
And
Called Peanut?
yeah, it's called Peanut. And my mom told me about it, and I ended up joining and making a play group and being like, hey, does anyone want to get together and just like have our kids play and us talk? And it's grown to 1,500 moms. And we
Wow.
do almost weekly play dates. And we have moms who have just found out that they're pregnant to moms whose kids are in college and come for book club. So we've really created this sense of community here, at least in Cincinnati, Ohio,
Yeah.
where we're building that community, that place rise, bring women up to where they deserve to be and they should be, especially in motherhood.
I so relate to this. And I'm now imagining like I had that ability to sort of, join a thing here locally, and there was a play group you could join and met some friends, and we still have friends from that. But I can't imagine in COVID when the world was shut down and you're trying to navigate this without being able to make those natural connections.
And I think the anxiety would have been there as it was, but with COVID, you were like, can this baby even leave the house? Like,
Right.
what should I be doing with him? Like, I'm not sure. So that, and I'm sure that fed into it is just isolation and motherhood, I think is like the worst thing. Like, if
Yeah.
you're a mom, I highly encourage you to take the step, go to the play date, even if you don't talk to anyone, you know they're there. And then maybe next time you can say hi.
Right.
And every mom's feeling the same way you do. I can tell you, I started the play dates and I was standing there like, should I talk to anyone? Like,
Right. It is so awkward until
you know?
you're not going to be BFFs immediately. You got to like pour into it a little bit and get to know people and see how it goes. And those
And
relationships.
especially for like stay at home moms, I feel like I had so many work friends and I'd go to work and I would expect to have those conversations. As a stay-at-home mom, I was like, what do we even share in common? Like I've haven't made friends since middle school. Like what am I doing? Like I haven't made friends on the playground since I was like 10.
Yeah, yeah. How do you do this? Yeah, it's a really different world and it can be isolating. Well, I appreciate you being so vulnerable and sharing. I think
Yeah, I'm sorry for the tears, but just
no,
thinking
don't
back, like I'm
apologize for the
just
tears.
so
No.
proud of getting back to finding myself and it just this wasn't in the baby books.
Right, right. There was no map for that for you.
Yeah.
Here's what to expect when you get postpartum depression. That is not a
No,
book.
maybe that's the next one they need to make.
Right, right. Well, I thank you for going down that road and just sharing with us and being so vulnerable. I think there's a lot of women that are going to feel seen and heard just having you share your story. So I appreciate that.
Of
Um,
course.
I'm going to change directions a little bit and talk about sports. You have been,
My bread and butter.
yeah, this is going to be so fun. You have been an athlete since your early career. You did youth sports, and tell us a little bit about sort of how sports came to be in your life.
I don't think it was ever an option to not be in my life. So my mom played college basketball for University of Maine at Machias. And I think we came right out the womb. My mom was ready for us to be in basketball. But I fell in love with basketball. I played softball, tennis. I just any sport I was willing to try it and see where I landed.
I love that. And so how did you end up with football? When did football come along?
It's such a crazy story and I feel like my family is still reeling on like how did we end up here? But I was on Facebook actually. I think I was updating our mom group and an ad popped up on Facebook like, "Hey, women are strong, women are fierce, play football." And I was like, kind of like my Tri Delta experience. I was like, they don't want me. Like I'm too old. And so I just reached out though to see what was going on. And they were like, no, we have women from 19 to 55 years old are playing on our team. Come out to tryouts. Let's see what happens.
Wow, that's amazing. And so you went to try out. And
And yeah, they were like, we love you. Like, would you like to join the team? And I got my offer letter and that's all she wrote. I've been playing for the team since November of last year. We do lifting, we have cardio, film review, full practices in helmets, pads. This is full tackle football.
full tackle football. And you played tight end. I know what that is because I'm a little bit obsessed with football. But for those of our listeners who don't, can you explain what that position does on the field?
Kind of, I joke with our other tight end, we're kind of like a jack of all trades. So we're playing on the line and we're taking hits, we're blocking, but then we're also going out to the sidelines. So we're also playing a receiver position as well.
Okay. All right. This is so
We're your
fast.
Travis Kelsey's and
There you
Gronkowski's,
go. There you go. Right. Make that relevant for all our Swifties out there.
right?
Uh, yeah. You have to share the story. So first of all, she shared the story with me before we started talking today. You have to share the story about the Kelsey invite.
Oh gosh, so I'm a big person on the answer is no if you don't ask. So you might as well ask. So I found Jason Kelsey's agent information online and I was like, gosh, I wonder if he could just even like give us some feedback, like just tell us what his opinion is. So I reached out to his agent and all of a sudden I got an email back and I was just my mind was blown and she invited our entire team to the New Heights live podcast filming that just happened here in Cincinnati, Ohio. And we've got autographs from Travis Kelsey. We got to see Joe Burrow, which every Bengals fan lost their mind, I think.
Yeah.
And it was just such an amazing bonding experience to have this. I mean, one of the greatest in the game recognize our team and then invite us out to something that they were doing that was really big. So it was just out of this world.
You are, so that's a great segue into you're in this sport that has traditionally been reserved for men. And so I can't imagine to have one of them recognize it and say, "Hey, we want to bring you into something we're doing." Um, but what do you think the significance is of women playing football and how is it going to change the sport? Do you see it going? I mean, it's semi-pro now. Do you see it growing? What's your vision for this? And how is it really going to change the sport?
I just think this is such an exciting time in women's sports right now. Like we
Yeah.
have the Caitlin Clarks, the Angel Reeses, like they're blowing up their sport. And then we just had the women's like professional soccer league. They released a story of reminding everyone that, hey, we started playing on high school fields and now we're having stadiums built for us. So I think all of this momentum that's coming behind women's sports, like we're just excited to be a part of it. So we're hoping that we follow the same trajectory, that people are gonna be excited about us. People are going to want to come to games. They're gonna want to support us. And we're playing high level competitive sports. Like we're not just showing up on the weekend. We're practicing 3 to 4 days a week. We're having film review. We're lifting. We're talking nutrition. We've just got a partnership with University Cincinnati healthcare system, and we're getting recognized. And I just think it feels great to have like all of this effort is not to waste.
Yeah, yeah. It must be fun to be at the sort of the forefront of that as it grows and sort of becomes more of a mainstream thing that people are aware of and know about. And to be on this ride right now in women's sports, you're right. It's just such a great time with
Especially on this team. So this is only our second year in the league, and we are right now looked at as someone who has the potential to win the entire division. So we're coming in strong this season.
love it. That's really exciting. And you're only a couple games away from the start of the season, right?
Yes, we have 4 practices left until our first game.
Okay. All right.
We'll be heading to Nashville to play against the Music City Misfits.
The Music City Misfits. Okay. That's funny. So one question I'll ask, we get, which I feel like we always ask women, but I think it's relevant. I think it's always interesting to hear how people balance it. You are balancing this and motherhood at the same time. And how do you sort of make that work?
And I feel like a lot of people use this answer, but I have a husband who thinks I can do things before I even think I can do things. So he's like my number one cheerleader. So right now he's out with the baby to make sure I had the ability to just sit here and speak to you, which is an incredible opportunity. And then I'm lucky enough that my mom and sister also live in the area, and they don't hesitate to fill in to babysit or show up and support. But an amazing thing that the Cincinnati Cougars do is children are always welcome. You're a mom first and a football player second. So,
That's incredible. I love
which a
that.
lot of jobs, I feel
Yeah.
like in interviews you have to be like, and as a warning, I'm a mom. Here it's, you're a mom, let's celebrate that. And it's never once been that I couldn't bring my son to a practice and we would just figure it out.
Yeah. I love that. That must be that's like a load off, it's like one thing less that you don't have to worry about. So you can focus on doing what you're there to do that day.
Especially because I didn't realize how much lingo goes into this sport. I feel it was like speaking another language for so long, and it's just now clicking.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. So one thing I know everybody's going to want to know is how do we watch? Where do we watch semi-pro women's football?
So if you go to CincinnatiCougars.org, we actually stream our games through our website.
All
But the
right.
league itself, the Women's Football Alliance, WFA, has just made a partnership with ESPN2. So games will be
Okay.
streaming on there as well.
Okay. Exciting. Well, we'll have to figure out your schedule. Tune in to watch our favorite Tri Delta player.
Right? Yeah. I would love to hold that title.
So you also had a little fun with your photo shoot. Why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, with the team photo shoot.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah, we had a great time. I unfortunately took a tumble and got a little beat up during the photo shoot, but some of our photos came out amazing. So, yeah, they're all online. Everyone's ready to see them. We actually just updated the website so you can see the full team roster on there.
Okay, cool. We're gonna have to make sure at the end I'm gonna ask you all the places to go to find you so you can share that with us. Hmm. So what's next for you? What's the next big thing for your life?
Gosh, I think just balancing everything. I moving forward, I just want to keep building this community for women in Cincinnati, whether that be through sports or this mom group that I'm going to keep up and running. So I just I just want to create a space where everyone has that chance to be authentically themselves. So, and we're building that I think on two fronts here in Cincinnati.
Wow, I love that. Well, I'd love to. I want to keep you close to Tri Delta. I think there are so many female athletes out there that are members who are going to be excited to hear this story and look up to you. And I think as a mom, you're such a great role model as well, just in how you've overcome adversity and are willing to, share that and be vulnerable so other moms can do the same thing. So you just have such a fun, great story. And I'm so glad you were willing to share it with us today.
No, thank you so much. I just love being able to share this and talk about things I'm passionate about. So,
Yeah. So, are you on social media? How can people find you and the team and all the stuff that we kind of have
so
talked?
Cincinnati Cougars are, you can find them TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, the website I mentioned. They're Cincinnati underscore Cougars. And then myself, I would say my most popular social media, I'm a big book talker. So you can
Okay.
find me at, yeah, that's Taylor on TikTok, especially if you're a Fourth Wing ACOTAR fan. I just actually met Rebecca Yaros not too long ago.
Fourth Wing Akatar. Is that a book?
Oh yeah, there's some like big like fantasy series, but
Okay.
so yeah, our Columbus library here in Ohio brought in Rebecca Yaros, which was an amazing experience.
Oh, how cool. Yeah, I'm sure there's a whole group of people out there that are like, wait, I read that too.
Yeah. But yeah, that's probably the easiest places. And I always want to keep, if there's ever a woman that needs someone to speak to about postpartum issues, please don't ever hesitate to reach out to me. I'm not an expert, but I'm always an ear. So I'm always welcome. I'm always happy to listen. And I
Oh,
know that made such a difference for me through my like journey.
yeah. What a generous offer of your time. And I know there's somebody out there that needs to hear that and will probably reach out to you. So thank you for that.
Of course.
And thank you for joining us. This has been a great conversation. And I know lots of people are going to be inspired by hearing your story. So thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for saying that. Thank you.
So Taylor shared so much great encouragement to us to pursue our passions and be able to ask for help when we need it. She's really a true testament to saying that no obstacle is too great to overcome. I love it that when they said, "Are you fearless? Are you ready to jump in and do some cool things at Tri Delta?" She said, "Yes, I'm here." So I love hearing that story about how she joined our organization. And I'm grateful for all of you for tuning in today as we continue to tell these great stories of resilience and empowerment. I hope you're all planning to join us at convention in July in Orlando, where we've got some really great keynote speakers lined up and networking and celebrations and just great sisterhood time in the sun in Orlando this summer. So I hope you'll join us. You can find information about that on our website at tridelta.org/events. We hope you'll like, subscribe, and rate our podcast. We sure do love those 5-star ratings, even though we only have 3 stars in our crescent. We love the 5-star ratings. Thanks for joining us. Until next time, Delta Love.